I'm Lee Smith, Superintendent of Mena Public Schools, and I have here with me a couple of guests today, Sheriff Sawyer and Mr. Torix. And I always come to you after a board meeting to let you know information about the school. And we had a board meeting last night, but I wanted to begin this video by going back to an event that occurred just before Thanksgiving break, which was the bomb threat that resulted in the building lockdown. And we had some feedback, a little bit of feedback from concerned parents about not being notified of the lockdown. And I wanted to revisit that and re-emphasize the importance of there only being one piece of communication, and that's between the school and law enforcement during a lockdown. And I wanted Sheriff Sawyer and Mr. Torix to talk about that a little bit, about why it's important that we keep lines of communication open, and that we're not dealing with two problems with concerned parents just trying to deal with the emergency at hand. So Sheriff Sawyer, just go into that a little bit, please.
Yeah, we had a bomb threat on campus here a few weeks ago. This specific threat was outside the building threat. The caller stated that there was a explosive device in a vehicle outside. Part of our school security program is the protocol. We go on lockdown at that point. We don't want anybody outside. We want all the kids safe, because that's our primary concern, is keeping our kids and keeping our staff safe. So school went on lockdown like they're supposed to. We handled our business outside. One of the problems that we have when we have an incident like that is, I'm a parent, you're a parent, you're a parent. If we think something's going on with our kid, we're going to them. But we're trying to manage a scene and keep extra people off. So that's why parents aren't notified right then. We've got business we've got to attend to, take care of. We're going to do everything we can to keep all of our kids safe, but we don't need extra folks there because it just complicates the scene. And if we do actually have a crime scene or something, one, they're putting themselves in danger if we have an explosive device out there. Two, we may have evidence we need to collect, and I don't need a whole bunch of people rushing to school. But I think the public, the parents need to know that we're going to do everything humanly possible to keep our kids safe. That's our primary concern every time.
Mr. Torix, our school's own security team responded to this well.
Yes.
And they have a role to play in this part also. We can talk about that a little bit.
Our security team there, they have certain areas that they go to, and we're going to hopefully be the first people on scene to work with the sheriff's office and the police department. But our main job, again, like Sheriff says, is keep the kids safe. But from the school aspect, kids using their cell phones could be a problem, because that's going to tie up communication signals. So we just ask that students, during a situation like that you stay off your cell phone. The teachers know what their jobs are to keep you in a classroom locked down, and keeping open communication is going to be the number one thing that we can do from the students' help point from that side. And parents are going to be trying to get in touch with their child via text or whatever, and that really needs to be very low key also.
And it's important for us to communicate to the community as soon as we have all the facts.
Yes.
And that was a fluid situation. People wanted to know what was going on. Things were changing. So it takes a little while before we're ready to release any information, because we want to make sure we get everything right. But we will communicate when we know.
Transparency is always a big concern. It's a big concern for me, a big concern for the school, but it's a really big concern for the parents. And I understand that their need to know, but we've got to be able to handle our business first. And I've noticed, and I'll just say I'm very proud of the Mena School District. Actually, all three of our school districts, with the way that they've taken our security of our kids to a higher level. They work really hard for it, and I'm really proud of the system they've got set up. But we've got to be able to handle our stuff, and then the public will be notified. And we did a press release pretty much immediately after we cleared the scene, and everything was good.
Well, I thank both of you gentlemen for
Thank you,
joining me today. And we had a board meeting last night as well. I want to ask Ms. Buckley to join me to share some information from that. The meeting agenda was pretty short, but we did share some good information with the board. about our academic progress. You know, we're ending the first semester of the year without COVID closure. So, we still have quarantines that were happening early on in the year, so the learning gap was getting wider, but we're making progress. So I asked Ms. Buckley to put together a report for the board, and I also want to share it here, but also some other things that are happening that are important for people to know. Ms. Buckley?
All of our buildings have worked really hard to address the learning gap. At Louis Durham, they have seen a number of students that have progressed from a level 1 to a level 2 and made great gains. Holly Harshman, over 70% of their students have made reading gains, and 20% of the students at Holly Harshman have made more than a full year of gain in this one semester. So that's a huge step for those students. Middle school, those students have been working on math and literacy both, and one of their focuses has been to adjust their literacy curriculum to give students more choice and more agency. They're seeing progress there, and that's something that will continue to increase as they see this change through. The high school, over 50% of the students have made gains in reading, math, and English. And that's a hard feat to happen in a high school situation. They are also adding a new reading program in the spring semester, critical reading, and the interventionist is reaching out to students that have some extensive needs in their gaps and offering for them to participate in that class, and we're seeing some good response to that as well. We know that we have continued professional development that we need to do, but we've got some areas that we've seen good growth in. Mena Middle School was recognized as a Beating the Odds school. That's a extensive award to get right now during this time. We also have 2 buildings that were selected by the Arkansas Leadership Academy to participate in the school team empowerment, and that's Holly Harshman Elementary and Mena Middle School. And through the spring semester, they'll be taking teams to Little Rock to work together to empower their school team, and we're excited to see what happens with that.
Yeah, thank you. Good information. So all that was shared last night, and then the board meeting started with just a few agenda items. We did have a discipline matter that resulted in an expulsion, but it is, and that was carried through. It is important for everyone to understand that by state law we are required to continue to offer educational services in the event of the expulsion, and we are able to do that, and that will be taking place as well. We will be determining the at-large board members in the January meeting. The zones for the Mena School District for each board position was released last month, and but there are 2 at-large members that will be selected. That will happen in January. The board also accepted a bid from Mena Ford for a Ford Explorer. You know, we have an aged vehicle fleet with a lot of miles, and we are making an effort to make our vehicle fleet better, so that we put our staff who are traveling to professional development, ball games, and so on in safer, more reliable vehicles. And so that purchase was agreed to come from Mena Ford. All of our financial reports were approved. We're about $191,000 behind where we were this time last year. That's simply due to the fact that we gave a $1,000 bonus to all employees at Christmas time, and there were salary increases that were made required by law this year as well. So we're right on track to finish with our projected ending balance. And in personnel, we replaced an ISS coordinator and moved some positions around in order to do that. And I invite you to read the minutes that were provided in the board from the board meeting to get more details on all these items. And with that, the meeting concluded, and I appreciate you watching this video, and I look forward to coming back to you again in January. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.